Howdy everyone, Tasty here, and thank you for joining me for the last random gaming news of the year. That's why I postponed this video until today, so that way I can have it on the last day of the year and do the giveaway that I had for the end of the month as well. Make sure that you are sticking around and going over to my Twitter account so that way you guys know who actually won. Alright, so back onto the show here. We're going to be looking at a few quick mentions that I think that you guys might find interesting, as well as the PT demo and some new stuff that came from that. And also, we're going to take a look at why we may not be getting some retro games that we may actually want. Since we don't have a game to look forward to this week, I thought we'd go ahead and do something at the end of the video that I found pretty interesting. Let me know how it was if you do stick around. Make sure that you're checking out the links in the description so that way you guys can check out that other YouTuber that I find interesting, because I know you're going to as well. And there's also a Discord server link down there, so that way you guys can suggest news articles or just come over and hang out and chat in the general chat if you like. And if you wouldn't mind, please share this video and hit the like button, you know, because those do help out the channel the most, and it lets me know that you guys are enjoying it if you hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button with that bell icon turned on so that way you can be notified of when I make my next video. And let's go ahead and start the show. First up for the quick mentions, we have some news coming about Bayonetta 3. That's right, Bayonetta 3, the long-awaited sequel to the first two Bayonetta games. Well, a Twitter user actually reached out to the lead developer, name on the screen, over at Platinum Games. He didn't responded, luckily, to the Twitter user and said, "Development's going really well." There you go. So we got a little bit of news about Bayonetta 3. I really hope that 2020 is the year for it, and I hope that he was just short just because we're going to get a direct soon and get some of that news maybe in January or February. February seems more like the likely candidate for maybe a direct, and maybe at the end of January, beginning of February. But either or, I'd like to know, some more information, maybe get some more news at another direct. In other short news, we got Saber Interactive's Chief Creative Officer Tim Waltz doing an interview with Game Reactor, and he, if you don't know who Saber Interactive is, they're actually the people behind the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt port over to the Switch, and they do a lot of great other ports over to the Switch as well, so everybody's been wondering what next games they're going to be working on to either get to the Switch or their own games. Well, he did an interview, like I said, and he actually said, "I can't announce anything right now, but we love the Switch platform and we love creating new games that will be on the Switch. I'm not going to announce any of them right now." So hopefully there will, like I said, be another direct where we get some information about Saber Interactive, because I'd love to know what they've been working on here lately, as they do actually, seem to understand how the Switch works, how to put a game together for it, and make it, fit for an audience on the actual Switch platform. So lastly, in the quick mentions, I just wanted to talk about some cute shit here. And who doesn't love cute shit? Baby Yoda on The Mandalorian, awesome. Pikachu on Pokemon, awesome. Other examples from other cute things, awesome. So, and it would seem that Sonic the Hedgehog is jumping in on this bandwagon as well, as we did get another trailer over in Japan for the Sonic the Hedgehog, where a good 30 seconds of the trailer kind of focused on baby Sonic himself. So that's right, if you want to go see younger Sonic than he actually is in this movie, then you can actually go see that trailer now, link down in the description, if you want to go check out that sweet baby Sonic action for yourself. So, modder Lance McDonald actually gave us some new secrets coming from PT, which is a demo for Silent Hills. Back in 2014 is when that was actually released, and he found this stuff just earlier this year. Like that Lisa, the main bad guy, follows the main character around while going through the actual hallway. And you might be a little confused as to what PT is, since it's been a little bit of time since anything's been coming from it. And what PT is you walking through this hallway and getting to the other end, and it would restart over and over again. And it sounds like a simple concept, but it would continue to get increasingly scarier, and certain things would pop out at you, and you would get a little bit more of the traditional Silent Hill style from that itself. And at the end of the demo, you would pop out into Silent Hills itself, and it would reveal that this demo is not a PT demo, but more of a Silent Hills demo. And that was one of the cool things that Konami and Kojima made in something, back in 2014 when they were still working together. But sadly enough, they're no longer together, and we probably will never get that Silent Hills game itself. But Kojima is working on another horror game, so if it was going to be anything like PT, it's going to be good. Alright, so this is where, modder Lance McDonald comes into play, because he did find that Lisa does actually follow the player character around when you're going through the game itself. Not only that, he actually found a way to connect the not pre-recorded cutscene at the end of the game to the actual game itself and bring them together so that way he could venture out into the cityscape itself. But when he first went out there, he fell through the floor and Lisa ate his ass like nobody's business. So he figured out a way to actually make the player character float around in the game, and he was able to actually then look at all the pretty stuff that came from the actual Silent Hill cityscape, and it was, to many surprise, was actually somewhat completed, where things like this usually aren't very completed. You just have basically the front view because you're not going to be putting any more effort in developing something that people aren't really going to go and see. But it would seem that Kojima doesn't half-ass things when it comes to making video games or movies or anything that he's going to be trying to do. So it's been nice to see that Silent Hill's game would have been something pretty cool, because the 9-minute kind of walk around that he did was pretty awesome to see. And if you'd like to see that yourself, there is a link down in the description so you can check out Lance McDonald's actual walk around for the Silent Hills PT demo. Next, I want to talk about remaking retro games, because you would not believe the hassle that goes into just starting development on those old games. And I really want this to be more thought-provoking than anything else, because I don't want to get into the cost of remaking the game, just more of the hassle and the to-dos of why we may not get some of those classics that we really love there. Alright, so now before getting started on a retro, remaking a retro game, you have to actually figure out who owns the rights to said retro game. If we take a game, for example, like the N64 classic Goldeneye 007, that game, could be held up by 3 different rights holders, because we have Universal, who actually makes the movies that was inspired by the game and has that character in said movies. Then we have Rare, who actually developed the game and made it to actually come out on consoles, which came out on the N64 only, which then was published by Nintendo. So, we have 3 people kind of right there being held up for the rights of just one single game. You'd have to figure out who owns the rights, or if all of them negotiate a deal that would work for actually remaking the game. So before you can even go into negotiations, you have to figure out the cost of how much it would actually take to develop a game and make it more modernized as far as the controls for a more modern gamer, then reamping the graphics so that way they again are more modernized for today's graphics, and also anything else that goes into development costs for remaking a game. Once you have that number, then you go and negotiate with the rights holders and see if it's something that you can work out a deal. And that's why most of the time we don't get a lot of retro games remade, because it's a lot harder to get a hold of all those rights holders and make a deal for something that isn't that much. And that's why we get a lot of games like Sonic the Hedgehog or Assassin's Creed remakes, or any of those other remakes like Resident Evil 2 and stuff like that, because those rights holders are the original companies that are actually remaking those games. So it's a lot easier for the original company like Capcom to come to itself and be like, hey, do you want to remake Resident Evil 2? Why, Capcom? Yes, I do want to remake Resident Evil 2. Let's make a deal. It's a lot easier to do that when you're the company that holds the rights. It's not so easy when there's other people involved, because then not only are you paying legal fees for negotiating deals, you have to pay people to find said people that hold those rights. And once you pay those people, then you have to pay for negotiating fees on top of that to get everything negotiated and worked out, to get a license to actually then make the game. Once you've got all that in order, then you're ready to start development on the game. Then you have to find a studio that's worthy enough or willing enough to remake that game, do everything that you need to modernize it, and then pay them for it. So you can see where a lot of retro games fall flat and they're unable to just kind of get off the ground, let alone keep development afloat for some of those things. Because even today, we have a big burst of people wanting to play retro games, but then they kind of fall off very quickly whenever they realize how much it's going to cost them to actually buy said game or put in donations or anything along those lines. And that's why, like I said, it's a lot easier for us to get another Skyrim than it would be to get GoldenEye 007. As much as so many people would love it, it's just not cost effective for the companies to get involved to make another one of those games, because there's just too much involved, too many turning wheels. And it's a lot easier if you're an indie company nowadays to come out with something like 007 than it is to actually ask the people to remake 007. And I just hope this was a kind of thought-provoking. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts about this down in the comments below, because I found the article I read on this very interesting, and I would love to know what you guys thought about it, or have a discussion down in those comments. So make sure that you are leaving those down there for me. As promised, since we don't have something to look forward to this week as far as game releases, at least for the next couple of weeks, I thought I'd bring us something new in this part of the video, and if you did enjoy it, let me know that down in the comments below, so that way I can make these maybe their own video when we do get some games back. And that's right, what we're going to be talking about today is Today in Gaming History. So today we're going to take a short look at just a game that came out, what exactly it was, and how it kind of affected the wave of games today, of how we play stuff. And that game that we're going to be taking a look at first is the very first Diablo game, because it actually did come out December 31st of 1996. That's right, we got this game back in 1996, and it was actually the first in the series to come out from Blizzard Entertainment, and it was a 2D kind of scrolling game. It was more of an isometric kind of RPG, kind of hack and slash adventure RPG game. It was a lot of fun. It was all about hell taking over heaven and demons fighting angels and whatnot. It was really fun back in the day. I was like 6 when it first came out. Didn't really get to play it until 2000 or so, but by then we got other classics like Diablo 2, which was a lot of fun for me to play back on my old Windows 95 PC. That's right, I had a Windows 95, 98, all the way up until now. But either or, it did have a very long string of success because it did actually spawn its own style of gameplay. Because even to this day, when you see an isometric style game, even like Path of Exiles, people still ask, how is it Diablo-like, or is it Diablo-like in its game style? And we have to answer with, yes, it's very Diablo-like, or no. And I kind of like, seeing that. And then not only that, it got its own 2 successors to the first Diablo game, and a 4th one's on the way. So, if you don't like Diablo, that's fine and dandy, but I just found that, since it came out today, we'd go over a little bit and how even still today we reference games in that Diablo style of gameplay. Well, that's the video for today. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I did love having you around. It was nice, knowing you for this past, few months here starting up the channel, and let's give it all in this new year. I'm going to be bringing on some new stuff to kind of amp this channel. I hope you guys do stick around. Let me know your guys' thoughts about anything in today's video down in those comments below. I'd be very interested to hear what you guys thought about the retro game stuff, or the PT interaction, or any of the quick mentions there. Also, let me know if you did like, the new segment that I started with Today in Gaming History. I'll be making that its own little segment if you guys did like it, and let me know that down in the comments below. Make sure you're also checking out that description for those links, because the Discord server is down there for you guys to come and suggest news articles you may want to see, or just new things you want me to do here on the channel. Also, there's a YouTuber down there that I thought was pretty interesting. I think that you might find him interesting as well, so why don't you go ahead and check them out for me. Please share the video. That does help out the channel the most. I do appreciate it if you do. Hitting the like button is always awesome. If you did enjoy the video, hit the subscribe button with that bell icon turned on so you can be notified of when I make my next video. As always, I have been Tasty. This has been Random Gaming News, and have a wonderful fucking gaming night. Oh, hello there. You made it all the way to the end of the video. I thank you for that. If you did, why not hit the subscribe button right over here? That'd be greatly appreciated if you did stick around for a little bit, and hit the bell icon to be notified of when I make my next video. Also, here's another set of videos for you over here if you missed out on past videos for you. I'd love to have you around and have your opinion on those as well. Go ahead and leave your thoughts down in the comments, and I hope you have a very wonderful day.